most of the studies you read, including the 4% rule, are static in the sense that you're basically spending the same thing every year, perhaps on an after inflation adjusted basis. That's fine for an academic study or professional paper, but that's not real life. That's just not how we live life most of the time. Things happen, and yeah, you may spend more in early years because you're delaying Social Security, but when Social Security kicks in, your spending, your withdrawals, I should say, will go down. It can be very hard to think through that just on paper. You can't stuff the 4% rule into that kind of plan. It just doesn't work. And that's where retirement planning software like Boldin, I think, is very, very useful. And so, yeah, I would put my plan in Boldin. And if it's telling me I've got a percentage chance of success that I'm comfortable with, I would take comfort from that, even if I had a year with a withdrawal rate of 11%. Now, I would stress test that plan, right? I would change the inflation assumptions. I would change the rate of return assumptions on my investments. Maybe I'd throw in some surprise expenses along the way that I'm not expecting but could happen. What does that do to my chance of success? How fragile is my plan? So I would be stress testing it. But at the end of the day, if there's a 10 or 11% withdrawal in a given year, particularly if it's because I'm delaying taking Social Security, but a year or two later, Social Security kicks in and my withdrawal rates fall substantially, I personally would be comfortable with that approach. In fact, I think it's very normal for a lot of people. So that's my take. Yeah, there's theoretically not a limit. I suppose you can't spend 105% of your savings without borrowing money. I probably wouldn't be a big fan of that approach. Although theoretically, you could come up with some kind of assumptions where that might actually be reasonable. But yeah, let's just assume for now you can't. Yeah, I don't think there's a single number that you just can't go over or your retirement plan is doomed. It just depends on the specific circumstances, and you can model that with tools like Boldin.